Alright, so welcome to my channel. My name is Grace. So let's cut and sew the simple gown. So here I fold this fabric into two. Each part is folded into two. So I have the front and the back folded into two, and I overlay the front on the part that is the back. So I have the back down and the front up. So here I am trying to do the dropping of the shoulder. So the front one is a little bit lower than the back, right? The one that is the front piece is shorter than the back. The back is coming from up to meet the front one down, and I did that by 3 inches. So if I fold it, I have 1.5, right? So I'm trying to pin it down here. So the front shoulder, that is the shoulder will drop and come to the front a little, just by 1.5. So it's actually 1 inch because the half is the seam allowance. So the length of my gown is 60, but I'm making it the whole length of the tip so that the remaining 2 inches I can use it as the hemming allowance. So my neck width here, I'm using 3.5 for my neck width. The shoulder of this gown is 16. So I am doing 16 plus half an inch for seam allowance. So that is the half an inch I am adding there. The first marking was for the shoulder, and then the second one here is the half an inch. So I'm trying to get my armhole depth. The armhole depth here I'm using 8.5. The bust is for bust 44. So I'm using armhole depth of 8.5. So that is my chest line measurement I'm trying to do. The shoulder is 16. So my chest width, that is the front chest width, I'm making use of 15. Right, I'm sorry, I'm making use of 14, not 15 is for the back. The front is 14 because the shoulder is 16. So here is my armhole line I'm drawing out. So before I'll draw this this thing, I'll get the center of my armhole line. The center of my armhole line is 4.25. So I'm marking the center of my armhole line there. So I'll now use my ruler to draw out my armhole, to carve out my armhole using that line. Center line I draw out as my chest line. That is where the ruler, my line, is beginning to come out from. You can see the shape as drawn out. So here I'm trying to get the bust measurement. So 44 divided by 4, that is quarter of 44. So I'm marking it out there before I'll add 2 inches allowance for ease. So here is the under bust length. In as much as it's not this thing, I'm using the under bust to get out my fitting at the under bust. So here the next line I'm drawing out here is my hip length. So from the shoulder to my hip length is 26. So that is the 26 I am drawing there. So here I'm still trying to get my under bust circumference. So the under bust circumference is 43. She's quite the measurement, the person is not really curvy. So the difference between the bust and the under bust is not too much. So for this hip, because it's a free gown, I'm using hip 50 because it's free. Actually her her hip is 45, so I'm using 50 here. So I'm just going to draw this line all the way down, maintaining that 50. That is the underbust still. The underbust is 15. So what I'm trying to do right now here, I'm trying to get my back depth. That is, I'm trying to shaping the zipper side from the back. Then using the deepest part of the back, that the line I draw around that 15 there. Her back length and her under bust length is the same thing, so I'm using 15. So here I'm trying to cut out the armhole. If you look carefully, you see I cut only the front part. I did not cut the back, because the front is going to be to go inside by half an inch. So here, if you notice, you see, pay attention, you see how I cut the back is coming out more than the front. So now I'm shaping from the chalk I've drawn out. Following the line I draw my chalk out is where I am cutting out. Do you see that the front and the back, they are not the same from the armhole? The front came in by by half an inch, by half an inch. So here I'm trying to carve out my my neck. So the neck, I start from the the front neck, only on the front side. I did not, my tape did not start from the back zip allowance. It start only on the front. So I'm doing a 3.5 over 3. That is, the depth of my neck is 3, the width is 3.5. So here I'm just trying to shape the zip area of my gown to give it a slanted shape at the back, so that the back will not be puffing out, so that it will have a flat finishing at the back. You know, your back is not straight, your back is contoured. So that is why what I'm doing, I did there. So here I'm cutting out the neck. I cut only the back of my neck. I went in from the back. I went down from the shoulder, the folded line. I went down by 1 inch. That is the falling shoulder from the back to the front. I went down by 1 inch. So here I am drawing out the front neck. From the shoulder down, I went down by 3 inches. I say it's 3.5 over by 3. So here I'm going to cut only the front now. I did not cut plus the back. After drawing it, I noticed that it was too short, so I added it. I didn't cut exactly on that 3. I added it by 0.75. It's more than half. So our gown is ready. So here I'm using this the same the front piece to cut out this my lace, the lace that I'm placing in the front of the gown. I'm using the front piece to cut out this thing. So what I did here is I'm just trying to get the length from the shoulder to the under bust, which is 15. That is where I'm marking out that line here. I mark out from shoulder to the under bust is 15. So I'll mark it out. I'm trying to trim the excess of the lace to make it equal. It's been long. I squat to cut, so I'm finding it difficult to balance. My knees were already weak. So here I am still measuring, trying to get the 15 inches. So I mark it out. So I'm trying to get a straight line from the 15 inches I've marked out here. Getting a straight line is just a guide for you to cut what you want to cut accurately and not make mistakes. That is why you need a ruler. A ruler will guide you more than using only your hand. So I'm trying to carve out the V shape the shape is coming from the under bust there all the way to the armholes area. So from the armhole area, it depends on where you want it to come out from. You can start from the shoulder and measure it downward by 6 inches, or you can start from the down part of uh, your armhole side, that is the seam side of your armhole, and come up by 3 inches. Depends on how down or how up you want the lace to come out at the armhole point side. That all depends on your choices, individual choices. If you have watched up to this point, please do well to subscribe to my channel. Thank you and God bless you. So now I have finished cutting out. So look at what we have. This is how it's going to look like on our gown when I'm done sewing it. Can you see that? So I'm using this suede bias to tape the mouth and give it a style, just a very simple style. So this is what I'm going to have, and then have another one from the center there all the way around the hip line, because it's not going all the way down. So here I'm trying to cut the sleeves. So these sleeves are very simple. I just throw my piece to cut a half flay. It's not full flay, it's just a half flay. The width of my sleeves here, I'm making use of 20. I'm making use of 20. So that is what I'm measuring, and the length of my sleeves is 10. So I'm just trying to shape my sleeves. It's going to be open. The sleeves are open, they are not fitted. So we have a little gather, the gather that I use thread to gather it, as in sew thread on the machine to gather it. So I just cut it. Is the cap's height is more than the armhole, just so I'll have some inches to gather. Okay, so I'm done cutting. So this is how my sleeves will be like when I'm done sewing. That is the shape of the sleeves. All right, our gown is ready. You see. Thank you so much for staying with me up to this point.